Today, I'm giving you that special birthday present we all want, the current power rankings.
You are Locked On MLB, your daily MLB podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, baseball fans, and welcome to Locked On MLB, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. This is the daily podcast. We talk about all of Major League Baseball. I am your host, Paul Francis Sullivan. If you don't believe me, there's my lower third. You can call me Sully. I have been a baseball podcaster for well over a decade now, and I am now in my sixth full season here as a host of the Locked On Podcast Network. Follow me on Locked On MLB Pods on Twitter or on Instagram. And you can follow me. I'm your pal Sully. I'm at Sully Baseball on Twitter, Sully Baseball Podcast on Instagram. You can also follow me on Locked On A's, as I'm now also host. I'm doing double duty here on the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm also the host of Locked On A's. So if you like what I'm doing here 5 days a week, why not make it 10? Subscribe to both of us. And if you're putting any, let's just say, comments on the social media and any of our sites, make sure to put that hashtag EverydaySully so we have an idea of who is listening to us. By the way, today's episode is brought to you by our friends from eBay Motors. From brakes to exhaust kit and beyond, eBay Motors has over 122 million parts to keep your ride or die alive. With all the parts you need at all the prices you want, it's easy to bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit. Only available for U.S. customers. Okay, and let's go through the trivia question. Yesterday's trivia question was, who is the only Seattle Mariners pitcher with two 20-win seasons? And Argonaut Comedy got it correct on Twitter, saying Jamie Moyer. Wasn't Randy Johnson, wasn't Felix Hernandez, wasn't even a Mark Langston. It was Jamie Moyer with his fastball that couldn't break a pane of glass. But lo and behold, he did enough to win. Now, here's the deal. You may notice I'm wearing the same shirt that I wore yesterday. That's because it still is yesterday, because I am recording this. I'm banking this because I'm giving myself the day off on Tuesday. Why is that? Well, it's a special day for anyone who is a baseball fan. Now, the late Roy Halladay was born on May 14th. Hall of Famer Tony Perez was born on May 14th. Dennis Martinez, El Presidente, was born on May 14th. Hey, Joey Cora was born on May 14th. Pat Borders, former World Series MVP, was born May 14th. David Byrne, lead singer of my favorite band, Talking Heads, was born on May 14th. George Lucas, the creator of Star Wars and Indiana Jones, was born on May 14th. And your pal Sully was born on May 14th. It's my birthday. So I'm giving myself my birthday off, but in order to do that, I got to record an extra show. So there you go. I'm taking my birthday totally off, but you still get a brand new Locked On MLB and a brand new Locked On A's. So that's my gift to you. And on this day, I'm going to give ourselves the gift that keeps on giving, and that is to take a good long look at the power rankings. The power rankings, for those of you who don't know, and I know, it is the rankings of teams and how basically the hosts of the Locked On Podcast Network can see where they fit, who the best team in baseball, who the worst teams. And it isn't always just by their win-loss record. If a team is red hot, or if a team is starting to fall apart, well, guess what? Then they're going to move up or down the rankings accordingly. Now, what I'm going to be doing is we're going to be going through the power rankings, and we're going to be taking a look to see how teams moved up or down along the way. And mind you, this is the result of 30 hosts vote, not just me. Some of these I don't actually agree with, but we'll go down this. And as always, you have a couple of very bad teams at the bottom, and you have a couple of really good teams at the top, and you have a big mishmash in the middle. Now, looking at the power rankings, I can already see there's one or two that I go like, I don't agree with you, my fellow Locked On fans. But that's what part of this is. It comes to debate. And if you disagree with anything that any of the vote tallies that we have, hey, let us know. Let us know. Let's go right to the bottom. The bottom is as such, and just really a team that is kind of heartbreaking, at least for me, because they were a fun, exciting team last year. They made the playoffs last year, and now they are absolutely circling the drain. And as of this recording, not only are at the bottom of the power rankings, but have the worst record in baseball and have lost 8 of their last 10 games. And those are your Miami Marlins. They're at number 30. Last week, they're at number 30. At number 29 is a team that is surprisingly hot right now. The Colorado Rockies are in the middle of a 5-game winning streak, including a sweep of the Texas Rangers. They're still not very good, but they're having a nice week. And so, well, they're not in the bottom. They're at 29. Last week, they were also at 29. The Chicago White Sox are at 28. And last week, they were also at 28. And as of now, they are still the worst team in the American League. They have won 6 of their last 10. And, they don't have a chance this year, but they're climbing up to at least 300 ball. One of the saddest teams in baseball and falling like a rock. And at number 27 are the Los Angeles Angels. I hate calling that. I just want to call them the California Angels. They dropped their last 2, including letting the St. Louis Cardinals beat them up at home. They are dreadful. They're dead from the neck up. They have terrible management, and they're already starting to chance sell the team. And they are going on our longest streak of losing seasons. That's not good at all. Now, mind you, Angels, White Sox, Rockies, Marlins, those are your bottom 4, and they're the exact same order this week and last. I think the Rockies deserve a little bit of a boost for sweeping the Rangers. Down 2 spots to number 26 are the St. Louis Cardinals, whose best thing that happened to them is the fact that they're currently playing the Angels, who are worse than them. But they've also dropped 7 out of their last 10 games and are looking, well, they look dreadful. They look absolutely dreadful. At number 25, you have the Houston Astros, who are slowly pulling things together. They wound up beating the A's the other day. They've split. They've won 5. They've been 5-5 their last 10 games, but they've been maddeningly inconsistent. And we're soon approaching Memorial Day, which will be the first checkpoint of the season. And the Astros are still playing sub 400 ball. We're going to see how it turns out in this 4-game series with the A's, who are starting to stumble. But the Astros look maddeningly inconsistent and not sure what to make of them. Also not sure what to make. Their Astros are up a spot from last week. Down a spot to number 24 are the Pittsburgh Pirates, who won a key game against Milwaukee the other day. They're a very difficult team to figure out. They're very difficult because, well, quite frankly, they're filled with good talent, but they are inconsistent to the point where we're not sure what they are. Now, mind you, every team between 12 and 24, you can almost hit shuffle. There's 1 or 2 in there. I'm thinking, what are you doing? Why is this one so low? But for the majority of these teams, they're kind of all similar. It's the crowded middle. A lot of teams that have talent, but aren't quite putting it all together. At number 23 are the Diamondbacks. Yes, last year's National League champion. They are up 2 spots and they've won a few games recently, including a wild walk-off against Cincinnati. So the Diamondbacks are starting to right their ship a little bit, perhaps. San Francisco have been playing losing baseball recently, and not quite sure. They need to have some sort of boost in that offense. They need to make a trade for an outfielder, do something, because their offense is just not cutting it. They're down 2 spots to number 22. Up a spot are the Toronto Blue Jays. And the Jays, well, they have been up and down and up and down. They have way too much talent on that team to be floundering around 500. But there we are. Down 3 spots and probably falling like a rock right now are the Cincinnati Reds, who have dropped 9 out of 10 games and just look confused. There's so much talent on that team. What are they doing? Collapsing it where they're now closer to 400 than they are to 500 right now. There are some people screaming for David Bell's job. I'm a big fan of Joe Madden coming back, or maybe hire one of Bruce Bochy's lieutenants. I don't know. It's not like this is Bell's first year with the Reds. He's been there a while. At number 19, holding steady, the same place they were last week, are the New York Mets. Oh, they can hit a walk-off home run, get everyone crazily excited in New York, or they can have a lousy game here or there. The fact that you have the Knicks and the Rangers in the playoffs right now, I think are giving the Mets a little bit of cover right now to start rebuilding. All right, we come back. We're going to keep reading off some of the teams here. And let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with anything we're doing here. But as of right now, you're going to see, well, quite frankly, you're going to see some matchups that I'm not 100% in agreement with. Now, let me tell you something. We're going to go to our friends at eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience, they're the formula for winning championships. It also keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performances. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back, because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need and all the prices you wanted, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit available only to U.S. customers. Hey, where are you getting your sports news? Where's your hub? Have you gone to Locked On Sports Today? Well, you should. It's a free 24/7 sports streaming channel program to bring you the biggest stories of the day. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channel app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is indeed your team every day. The Nationals are coming at number 18. And they've actually been playing better than I've thought recently. They're hovering around 500, and I wonder if they're going to be making the move. Remember, we talked a lot about the fact that you're going to have the 3 division titles and 2 wildcard teams in the National League that are all going to be good teams. And then you're going to have that 6th team that is going to redefine the word mediocre. If you're hanging around 500, you've got a legit shot. And number 17 are one of the more disappointing teams in baseball so far, in my opinion, are the Tampa Bay Rays. But they have started to put the aft thrusters on, winning 7 of their last 10 going into Tuesday. They are up 4 spots to number 17, and sleep on the Rays at your own peril. At number 16, and I think this is a little high, and believe me, I know this because I've been following the team day in and day out, and it's the Oakland A's. The A's got to 500 just a couple of weeks ago, but man, things have not been going well for them since. And they are starting to play after dropping 7 of their last 10. And in 6 of those 7 losses, they've let up 8 runs. They need to start to pitch better and to not just rely on the home run. This has been a lot of fun to see the A's playing a bit over their head, but holy cow, it can go south in an awful hurry. At number 15, down a spot, are the Detroit Tigers. They're still above 500 despite having a bad stretch recently. And they are a good stretch away from jumping right back into this the way the Minnesota Twins have. But right now, they're right there in the middle at 15. Number 14 is the Boston Red Sox, up 1 spot. Red Sox are weird. They've had a bad stretch. They went on dropping 7 of 10 recently. There is talent on that team. There is good pitching on that team. They need another bat to spark the club. And I'm glad Rafael Devers is back and doing their best to keep them in some sort of contention or their nose above 500. But I don't know what this team's going to look like in the long haul. At number 13 is one of the more confusing teams in baseball, the San Diego Padres. Obviously, they're a star-studded team. And by bringing in Dylan Cease and Luis Arraez, they managed to fill the holes left by Blake Snell's departure, not that he's helped San Francisco any, and Juan Soto, who's been tremendous, obviously, with the New York Yankees. They're hovering around 500. Some days they look terrific. Some days they look like an amateur team. I still think they're going to be in contention for that mediocre team wildcard spot. And number 12 are the Texas Rangers, who went on a awful run, being swept by the lowly Colorado Rockies after having a good solid series against the Oakland A's. They are in just a few games out of first place as of this recording, and yet barely have their nose above 500. At number 11, the Seattle Mariners. I think this is very low. I think they're definitely a top 10 team. The Mariners are in first place in the West as of this recording, and also can pitch. They have terrific pitching. In fact, just watch yesterday's episode where I talk about the fact that the Mariners do have the kind of pitching that if you're trying to win something resembling a pennant, I don't know, it's what I'd be going for right now. I think they should be higher, and maybe they will be higher if they continue to beat the Kansas City Royals, which brings us to number 10, the Kansas City Royals. They stay steady at the same spot at number 10. The Royals, led by Bobby Witt Jr. and by Lugo, their great pickup of the offseason, are playing above 500 and right now are a wild card team and only 2 games back of Cleveland for first place. This is a team that lost 106 games last year and are now in contention. Listen closely, Angels. It's possible to do that. All right, we're going to take one last moment here to look around, and we're going to go 1 through 9. And these are, I think, the best teams in baseball, not called the Seattle Mariners.
PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 3 million members. It's the easiest and most exciting way to get in on the action while you watch your favorite sports and players. You can pick more than or less than on 2 or more player stats and watch the winnings roll in. Don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond in your PrizePicks entry, whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs. Take your picks on more than or less than, and then add them to your PrizePicks entry today. Get in on the playoff action and win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level during basketball's postseason. PrizePicks is really simple to play. I can make my picks and submit them in less than 60 seconds. Download the app and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Yes, download the app today and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Hey, where do you get your sports news? It's time to make the switch to Locked On Sports Today, the first ever 24-hour streaming sports channel on YouTube. It's now available on the Free Fires TV app on your Amazon TV. Check out all the latest opinions and takes from local experts from Locked On, plus the national shows. Locked On Sports Today. It's on your YouTube 24/7. Check it out. Have that be your new go-to spot.
All right, let's go through our top 9 right now. You got the Chicago Cubs are at number 9, and they're going to be playing. I just get the sense they're going to be going back and forth with the Brewers. This behooves the Pirates to make a move and fill in a couple holes right now if they want to get in and make it a 3-team race. The Reds are shooting themselves in the foot, and the Cardinals just look bad. But the Cubs look good, and Imanaga's been one of the best pickups in baseball. The Cubs haven't moved. They were 9 last week. They're 9 this week. Are they 8? Number 8 last week and number 8 this week. You got the Minnesota Twins, who went on that wild winning streak, and now they've pulled themselves up to be within a game of first place. The Twins look very good and have been beating some good teams along the way, as well as the bad teams. So we're going to see if we're going to have back-to-back division titles right there. The Brewers come in at number 7, same spot they were last week. Again, loaded with talent. They lost a big game to the Pirates earlier this week, but they certainly have a ton of talent there. And we're seeing the emergence of some young players as well who've been brought up through the farm system. So we're going to see if the Brewers can, continue this big run even without Corbin Burns. At number 6, you have the most surprising division leader, and that are the Cleveland Guardians. You lose Bieber, no problem. They come right in, and they can hit, and you get the sense that they can pitch even a little bit better. Right now, as of this recording, they have the third best record in the American League and are been playing really, really solid baseball along the way. Then let's go to the top 5. The New York Yankees are at number 5, same spot where they were last week. Aaron Judge is starting to heat up, and they've played exquisite baseball without Garrett Cole, which can only help them later on. At number 4, the team that was number 4 last week is number 4 again this week, are the Atlanta Braves, who are stacked, who are playing good, solid baseball, and would be the division leader in any other circumstance except for number 3, who are the Philadelphia Phillies. Again, my pick to win the World Series. The Phillies have won 8 of their last 10 games. The Phillies have the best record in the National League. I think 3 is low for the Phillies, quite frankly. I think they look outstanding. I think when I did my rankings, I think I had them at number 1. And it's not because I'm a Phillies fan. I think they're going to win the World Series, and I feel very good about that. And they certainly are an elite squad. At number 2, down a spot, the team that was at number 1 last week, the LA Dodgers. The Dodgers continue to win, continue to put things together, and they have the biggest division lead of any of the division leaders at this point. This is a team that, of course, is World Series or bust. And right now, the way they're playing, well, it looks like they may have a huge clash in the NLCS with the Dodgers, which means, of course, the NLCS will be Padres Pirates. And at number 1, up 2 spots, the top of the board of the power rankings are the Baltimore Orioles, who have dropped a couple of games recently, but have won 7 of their last 10 as of this recording, have the best record in the American League, and they look like they're just stacked with good, solid young talent, and are going to be, quite frankly, very, very tough to beat. They lost to Toronto the other day, but they've got talent, and they're going to go on and win a giant pile of games. So, in review, let's take a look at the rankings. You have from 1 to 10, Baltimore, LA, Philadelphia, Atlanta, the Yankees, the Guardians, the Brewers, Minnesota, the Cubbies, and the Royals. There's your top 10. The Mariners are number 11. They should be higher. Rangers, Padres, Red Sox, Tigers, A's, Rays, Nats, Mets, and Reds. Those are 11 through 20. And starting 21, you got the Blue Jays, the Giants, the Diamondbacks, the Pirates, the Astros. Then you have your bottom 5. Your 5 worst teams are the Cardinals, Angels, White Sox, Rockies, and Marlins. So there you go. Those are your power rankings. And let's do the trivia question. The trivia question revolves around my birthday. I was born May 14, 1972, which means I am now 52 years old. That's 1 year for every card in the deck. On the day I was born, the New York Mets defeated the San Francisco Giants. What player on the Mets homered to defeat the Giants on the day I was born, May 14, 1972? Put your answers down here on YouTube and on Twitter at Locked On MLB Pods, or at Sully Baseball on Twitter, Sully Baseball Podcast on Instagram. That's the trivia question. What New York Met homered to defeat the San Francisco Giants on the day I was born? All right, folks. Well, there's your power rankings, and we're going to have a full day of baseball coming up. I'll have a full day of having a birthday. So go to Locked On MLB Pods on Twitter or on Instagram. I am your pal Sully. I'm at Sully Baseball on Twitter, Sully Baseball Podcast on Instagram. Celebrating my birthday with you all by giving myself a day off, but still giving you a new episode. This has been Locked On MLB for May 14, 2024. I'm your host, Paul Francis Sullivan. Please wish me happy birthday. That seemed Jeb Bushish, sort of begging for it. Nah, who cares? Call me Sully.